What is up everybody, Bigjuicyhog here, and I'm back to you today with another World of Warcraft video. The topic of this video is, should I play WoW in 2020? So if you clicked on this video, then you're probably asking yourself, is it worth getting to World of Warcraft today? The game's been out for more than 15 years. Is anybody even still playing it? What is there to do? Well, I have the answers to your questions, so let's get started. Before we get into the meat and potatoes of the video, I noticed that only about 8% of my total views are from subscribers, so if you enjoy the content, hit that subscribe button. Now on to the video. World of Warcraft is an MMO that was released by Blizzard Entertainment way back in 2004. Just think about that, 2004, and where were you? Some of you guys may not have even been born yet, and that's just crazy to think about. It became a monster hit and a cultural phenomenon with up to 12 million subscribers at one time back in 2010. The game has waned in popularity quite a lot since then, but is still very popular among MMOs. Why would you want to play World of Warcraft? WoW has had many years to continue tweaking and polishing their game, making it a smooth experience for any gamer. Some players may feel like the game has been oversimplified over time, which maybe it has, but I feel like a lot of those people are looking back with rose-tinted glasses. The game is very strong all around and has tons of different kinds of content for every kind of player. Now, with the expansion looming on the horizon, the leveling process is going to be squished down a bit. In the current iteration of the game, you go from level 1 to 120 by venturing through 7 expansions worth of content as well as the base game. That really encompasses an incredible amount of content on its own. The new leveling content is going to be level 1 to 50, with 51 through 60 being added with Shadowlands. The leveling process is going to be even faster, but at the expense of seeing much of the former content. After an introductory area, which should take you to around level 10, you will immediately go to Battle for Azeroth, where you obtain the next 40 levels. You could choose one of the other expansions if you are so inclined, but I believe the default will be B of A. That's not Bank of America, that's Battle for Azeroth. If you're a completionist, there's no reason why you can't go back and complete all of the old content. It just won't be laid out before you like it is now. So, as the game currently is, the leveling process is pretty easy and not incredibly long as far as MMOs go. With the upcoming updates, the slog to endgame will be even shorter, which is a net positive in my opinion. As with most MMOs, there are a huge number of quests to complete while leveling, but there are also a lot of really cool and interesting dungeons to check out along the way. Starting with your first foray into Ragefire Chasm or Dead Mines, all the way up to the dungeons of the current expansion. One positive for getting into a dungeon group in WoW while you're leveling is that there is an in-game looking for group system. You don't have to spam in a major city to find an instance group. You just open the LFG tool, pick your activity and role, and poof, you're entered into a queue. You can continue doing questing or whatever other activity you were while you wait for your instance queue to pop up. A lot of old school players would argue that this feature ruined the social interaction of the game when it was added, and they're right, but it was also a huge boon for running lower level instances, as getting groups for them would have been nearly impossible. If you want something bigger and more grand, then there are raids. Raids are essentially really big dungeons with more complicated bosses that require generally from 10 to 25 players to complete. Teamwork and coordination is needed to take down the most difficult bosses on Mythic difficulty. If PvP is your thing, you can run Battlegrounds while you level. Battlegrounds are PvP instances that you can queue up for and looking for group just the same as dungeons. Battlegrounds vary in the number of players, the objective, and each one depending on which one you enter. Alterac Valley, for example, is a large-scale 40 versus 40 game mode with multiple PvE type objectives, while Warsong Gulch is classic capture the flag on a much smaller scale. Once you get to max level, there are a number of activities for you to complete to keep your interest in the game depending on what it is that strikes your fancy. There are world quests to level up the endgame factions and help you obtain stronger gear. Dungeons are still a part of the endgame experience as you graduate from regular instances to heroics, up to mythic dungeons if you want a challenge. Once you reach mythics, there will be increasing difficulty levels that you can progress through to obtain better loot. PvP is viable at endgame as well. Battlegrounds are still around, and you can also compete in rated battlegrounds, which are more serious, and Arena. Arena is a small-scale battle where the last team standing wins. Arena has a ranking system where you gain points as you win and lose them when you're defeated. If you aren't really into those kind of activities, there's still plenty of things to do. There are tons of professions from blacksmithing, mining, herbalism, inscription, and tons more. You can play the auction house and try to make a fortune if you're so inclined. You can complete achievements in-game for any number of things. Just about anything you can think of may have an achievement tied to it. If you like collecting weapons and armor appearances, there's a very nice transmog system in place. You can easily farm old raid and instant content to fill out your collections. One of the beautiful things about WoW is that whatever you want to do, there's a path to get there. You can be as casual or hardcore as you want. If at any point you think, this is too casual for me, then you may want to check out the vanilla WoW servers. So what are some of the pros and cons for me about WoW? The pros include a lot of activities to choose from no matter how you prefer to play. It's easy to get started. The interface and quest system is not difficult to master very quickly if you're somewhat familiar with MMOs or RPGs. There are hundreds, if not thousands of hours worth of content. Classes are not overly complicated to learn initially. When you subscribe, you will have access to all content up until the current expansion. If you want the recent expansion, you will have to pay for it. When the next one comes out, the current one will be added to the subscription service. And there's a very active mod community that's continued to make the game even better over the years. So, some of the cons to the game. WoW is still a subscription model game. $15 a month is a turn-off for some people. The graphics are not bad, but they aren't quite up to par with some of the most recent MMOs, although each new expansion looks significantly better than the previous one. If you played during vanilla and are thinking about coming back now, then you're going to be playing a completely different game, and for some people that might be a turn-off. Although there is WoW Classic, there might be something for you still. And the leveling process can be a little bit lonely sometimes, as there's not always a lot of people in the leveling zones. So, do I think you should pick up WoW today if you've never played? For me, it's a definite yes. I've never played a game for 15 years, and I played this one for 15 years. Never even played another MMO for more than a few months before giving up on it. To me, WoW is the perfect blend for both the mega casual and semi-hardcore crowd. There are so many things to do that you will never likely get through all of them, but you'll have fun on the journey. If you can get past the Netflix-like subscription and want to play an MMO, then World of Warcraft is a no-brainer for me. Thanks for listening everyone, and I hope to see you in Azeroth.